We got to talk about Ye, formerly known as Kanye. If you've been following the story, you know he's been publicly sharing and deleting Instagram posts about his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. These have included screenshots of text messages between the formerly married couple, threats to Pete Davidson, the man she's been dating, along with personal details about their ongoing divorce battle and disputes about their children. What we're seeing is abusive behavior, public humiliation, and stalking play out in front of the world. And people are watching it like entertainment. So a lot of thoughts as I see. I hadn't been following the story at all.
Oh, I have.
You have, like right from the start?
Yeah.
I had jumped in and I saw some really disturbing texts like that he had put on his Instagram page. And that's when I was sort of like, what's going on here? He's an interesting character, always has been. I'm just going to go quickly through the timeline and then I'm going to get your take on this, T, because I think it's super dangerous what's happening right now. They got divorced last year, or they announced the divorce last year, January maybe, 2021. Pretty quiet about things. And then in fall, she started dating Pete Davidson from SNL. And that's when he started acting up. So he started threatening Pete Davidson. We started hearing a lot about that. Not a lot from Kim Kardashian's side, but a lot from Kanye's side. He talked about how he wasn't invited to his kid's birthday party. Allegedly, he moved in across the street from them.
Next door.
And then things just became weirder and weirder until Valentine's Day. There was a truckload of flowers dropped off at her place. There have been all the text messages she sends to him, he's putting out on his Instagram. He has since deleted them. You've been watching it from the start. What has been going through your mind?
Listen, I want to say off the top, I am no fan of either one of them. So I'm not defending Kim because I like Kim. I don't like the Kardashians. I don't like the way they treated Jordan Woods, or they're currently treating Blac Chyna. So let me just say that I don't like the Kardashians, but I have to call it bad behavior when I see it. I mean, Kanye is on a whole nother level with this. And he tends to do this around album release times, too. So part of me, too, is like, is it all mental health, or is this strategic? Because you have to remember, he is a billionaire. You don't get to that status by being dumb. He is a very smart man. So sometimes I don't know whether this is him having an episode or whether it's him being smart, but either way, any one of us who would be using our social media to threaten people, to call people on a daily basis, we would have our accounts shut down. I've had mine suspended for less.
Yeah.
You know, I've had mine suspended for a month for liking pictures too much. Like, seriously. like we would all be, we would all be shut down. How come, like, when it comes to being socially responsible, they are not taking this man off of social media? We would not be allowed to do this, Tracy. We would not be allowed to do this. And also, he's being harmful of Pete as well.
Yes.
Asking people to call out things when he sees him. You don't know what your fans are capable of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if something were to happen to him, is Kanye responsible?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to ask yourself that, right? And what are they doing wrong is what I want to know. What is Kim and Pete really doing wrong? Let us not forget, when they first broke up, he got a girlfriend first. Immediately. What is her name? Irina Shayk, I believe her name is. And he's had many girlfriends since then. He said in regards to showing public affection with Pete, it doesn't look good for their family, doesn't look good for her, or in the eyes of God.
Oh, boy.
That's very, very hypocritical and very, in my opinion, controlling.
Narcissistic.
Narcissistic, controlling, and it's sexist.
It's very sexist. There's so many isms and ists in all of this thing. I'm scared for Kim Kardashian and for women in general to see a woman that has that much power and influence know that she has no control or agency over her life right now. Because this man has decided that he is going to make her life a living hell. And then he does something, there's two things that I find very interesting and upsetting and depressing about this whole situation. He does this thing where he will throw out something very pro-Black and positive and get the Black community on board, and then he will be abusive, and then he will do toxic things to Kim, and then he will say something very pro-Black. And R. Kelly operated in a very similar way, and I just think it's time. How strategic is that?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? It's time that people, and I know a lot of people have said, well, Tracy, what are we supposed to do? We're bystanders. I think that we do have some power in a situation like this. We watched Whitney Houston implode. We watched Britney Spears implode. We watched Michael Jackson implode. We all watched and consumed it like fodder and entertainment. We have the opportunity to look away. We have the opportunity to say, this is not okay. It's not okay to stalk a woman publicly and to use your billions of dollars and your resources and your fan base to make sure that someone is being publicly abused and like fearful for their lives. It's not okay. And it's up to us as consumers to say, we don't want to consume this anymore. Donald Trump used to say, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. He would say things like that. And then when people came to rallies, they had this tacit agreement that they could be violent. Kanye is doing that with Pete Davidson. So we watched Donald Trump be on a reality show, and then he was president. Look away. They can look away. We don't have to support this. So I think we all have a responsibility to say, you know, as a community, we are not going to uphold people who act in this way.
I agree, and I think we do. A lot of the times, people are supporting it. When you go online and you look at it, they're supporting. Like when he was calling for everybody to feel sorry for him about that birthday party, about his daughter, I didn't understand it. I'm like, this is not the way the world works. When you separate and you have your kids on certain days and the other one has the kids on the other days, you're not entitled to be present at a party that you didn't organize or pay for. Like, no, that's just not the way it works, Tracy. Like, he's just on there like, oh, I want to be there for my daughter's birthday. It just shows he's controlling. You don't have access to that anymore. When you split up, she has every right to create boundaries. You don't get to just enter that person's house anymore, be at parties or throw your own party. We are supporting somebody being very abusive and being very controlling, and I think you're right, we need to sometimes look away. Stop supporting it, or like stop going online and supporting what he is saying, because what he is doing, all of us would not be allowed to do this stuff publicly.
That's right. Protect women, protect mothers. That's the last thing I'm going to say. Protect these people, because right now she has no agency of what's happening over her life or her children. So obviously we feel quite strongly about this one. It's so much better to have these chats in person, T, so I do appreciate you coming down here. And thanks, everyone.